so and so. I do. I don't even know if I have sunglasses on. Oh,
Really?
But I'm not a star.
Sunglasses is a must these days
I
because
mean,
of the UV ray and everything.
I mean, I used to have one of those things that you put on, but it's dangerous when driving, so I don't do it anymore.
Yes.
But anyways, Hyung, our superstar. By the way, I don't think you're gonna be ever invited to any of our 회식s now,
Why not?
because all the guests are gonna hate
Oh,
you.
don't hate me. Don't hate me. I'm just a poor ajumma.
No, blame Benny. It's not my fault.
I can't blame Benny.
It was
because
Benny's
he's
fault.
my biggest supporter.
Oh goodness, Benny just ruined her. She's the most hated guest now on the show now. Look at her coming out in sunglasses now. We're going to be talking about our first topic. Of course, now, believe it or not, it's now 1 week away until the 21st presidential election. It is a snap election. We're going to focus on the second televised debate, which, by the way, at 8 p.m. today, in about 50 minutes or so, they're going to have the last and third televised debate between the three main candidates here. We also have the latest public opinion poll results that have come out, which is quite interesting considering that Kim Moon-soo of PPP has closed the gap quite a bit.
Yes.
But let's talk about this.
Sure. We have only 7 days left until the election day, and early voting will take place on this Thursday and Friday. So the atmosphere surrounding the presidential election is heating up more and more. And the second televised presidential debate was held last Friday, and it focused on social issues covering topics like national unity, pension and healthcare reform, and climate change. And compared to the first debate, this one was more intense, especially with attacks directed at the leading candidate Lee Jae-myung, of course, once again. And taking a look at the main policy proposals and the tone and attitude of each presidential candidate in the debate, Lee Jae-myung first emphasized inclusive leadership, saying that overcoming the division is the president's main duty. And his key proposals included fixing pension cuts for seniors, reducing caregiving costs, and expanding renewable energy. And what I found interesting was that although he tried to stay policy focused, he did push back strongly when attacked, different from the first TV debate.
No, I mean, when you look at the polls, and the consensus is that Lee Jae-myung is leading all the polls right now, and the consensus says that he's probably going to win, you're going to have all the candidates basically attack you.
Right.
I mean, that's what's happening with Seong right now. All the guests are going to start attacking her now because she's the most popular, right? It happens in life. That's what happens, right? But you're also not going to just stand idly by and go like, yes, keep attacking me. He's going to respond. He's a talker. He's a talker.
Yes.
What about Kim Moon-soo of PPP?
Well, Kim Moon-soo heavily criticized Lee's basic income society idea and highlighted Lee's legal controversies aiming to rally conservatives. And he actually launched negative attacks towards Lee Jae-myung, bringing up his personal issues like family issues and so on. And Kim also focused on youth-friendly pension reform and emphasized deregulation over environmental restrictions.
The minor new reform party is Lee Jun-seok. His was kind of interesting.
He was. He took a very different approach this time.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Actually, the day of the debate marked the anniversary of former President Roh Moo-hyun's unfortunate death, and Lee Jun-seok visited his cemetery before the debate, and it's an unusual move for a conservative, and it was also an unusual move considering his past remarks regarding liberal administrations, and this kind of approach shows that Lee Jun-seok is trying to reach out to moderates and anti-Lee Jae-myung voters, of course.
Yeah, because again, Lee Jun-seok, one of his things was like, he's the real conservative. Right. And then he even went to, like, I think one of the first places he went when the campaigning started, he went to Daegu.
Right.
Where Daegu is a conservative stronghold. And he was basically like, I'm the real conservative. What you see with the PPP, they're not real conservative and stuff like that. But when you're talking about Roh Moo-hyun, who is considered one of the most famous, like,
iconic liberal president.
Yeah, he's a very progressive leader. When you talk about progressive president, you always talk about Roh Moo-hyun, you talk about Kim Dae-jung, and then Moon Jae-in was also progressive. But like those two, Kim Dae-jung and Roh Moo-hyun, they're the icons of progressive leadership. And so for him to come out saying that, I want to lead a country like Roh Moo-hyun, it doesn't fare well to the conservative base, which
Yes.
that's why I thought it was kind of interesting,
For
right?
me, it seems like he all of a sudden like changed his stance towards Nomuyan administration, but I don't know if he has thought about it for a long time or not. We never know.
It's because I mean it's interesting you said that he is trying to draw in moderates because amongst moderates, I mean Roh Moo-hyun was a very popular
Yes.
figure, right?
was.
You also have another minor progressive candidate in Kwon Young-guk, right?
Yes, he focused on inequality, pushing for stronger safety nets, tax reform targeting the wealthy, and better protections for vulnerable workers. So we can say candidate Kwon Young-guk represented the typical stance of the Progressive Party.
So again, I mean, we're looking at probably we'll probably see one more, I think, public poll, opinion
Yes.
poll after the third televised debate. But after the second televised debate, do we see some like significant changes in the the poll surveys?
Yes, but it's hard to say for sure. But there has been some movement, according to Korea Society Opinion Institute and CBS poll conducted on May 23rd to 24th among 1,001 adults with plus minus 3.1% margin of error. Lee Jae-myung is still leading with 47.3%. Kim Moon-soo follows with 39.6%.
Jeez.
And Lee Jun-suk trails with 9.6%. And some polls show that 10% supported Lee Jun-suk.
Yeah.
So near 10% we can say in general. That's why all eyes are on whether Lee Jun-suk will drop out and merge with PPP's Kim Moon-soo, though I believe it's highly unlikely because despite strong courtship and persuasion from the PPP, the Reform Party and candidate Lee Jun-suk himself have firmly denied any possibility of unification. And there is so little time left now, so I think the chances are very slim, but we never know. Politics is a moving organism, they say. 정치는 생물이다. And going back to the numbers, compared to last week, leading candidate Lee Jae-myung dropped by 1.9 points, while Kim Moon-soo gained 3.2 points, narrowing the gap to 7.7%. And Kim's rise came mostly from Seoul, Chungcheongdo province, and Daegu Gyeongsangbuk-do province regions, suggesting conservatives are uniting as the presidential election day approaches.
So if you do when you look at the polls, they usually do like, it's weird. It's never like 1,000. It's like 1,001,
Right,
1,003 or something like that, right? And so it's a small sample size. Right, when you talk about like millions who are going to be voting on election day, but still, if you add those numbers, Kim Moon-soo 39.6, Lee Jun-suk 9.6, and if you add them together, it comes out to more than what Lee Jae-myung's figures is. So that's what like the PPP or the conservatives or anybody are basically going. If you remember, if you look at the 19th, no, the 20th, no, 19th, when Moon Jae-in won. Hong Jung-pyo and An Chol-soo represented the conservative side, I think. If you combine them together, they would have beat Moon Jae-in. And so that's what they're looking at right now. But Lee Jun-suk's young, right? Lee Jun-suk's young. He knows that if he merges, then he's not going to be the president.
No.
It's going to be Kim Moon-soo.
Yes.
So he doesn't want to give that. He said, why do I have to give you my 10%?
I know.
Yes. And what did he say? He said, Kim Moon-soo, you resign.
Yes. And also, if they were, the Reform Party were to go through with unification after such strong denials, would there really be more political gain left for Lee Jun-suk? That's my question. So I think it's highly unlikely that Lee Jun-suk will choose to merge with Kim Moon-soo.
So I think the deadline's tomorrow. They have until tomorrow until they decide whether or not they're going to merge and stuff like that. But I mean, Lee Jun-suk has something that PPP wants.
Right.
But if you remember...
It's popular among 20s and 30s, especially
that's what he's targeting.
Among conservative male voters.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, he even said it today. He's like, the 20s and 30s are rallying right now. I mean, I have a 10%, I have 10%, but that's going to certainly go up. But the thing right now is, if you think about it, Lee Jun-suk was at one point PPP's interim leader.
He was. And he kicked out.
He got kicked out, right? And so now he's like, dun, dun, dun.
And PPP is kind of begging for him to return now. So it's a very interesting situation.
I mean, he's played this so well right now, where this is probably, I mean, he played the long game. He got them back.
Yes.
He got them back.
Yes.
And so, I mean, He's not going to merge with them. What is he going to gain? He's not going to be the president if they want Kim Moon-soo to be the face of PPP. They're not going to make him the face of PPP.
Yes.
So why does he have to go? He's young. He still has many years to go. And who knows? He might run for presidency again.
That's right. He just turned 40, so he has a lot of chances in the future. So now I believe turnout will be key. The candidate whose supporters actually participate in voting will have the upper hand. So whoever you support, those of you who have a right to vote, please do cast your ballot. And speaking of turnout, we have very meaningful news that came in that the preliminary overseas voter turnout for the upcoming presidential election has reached a record high of 79.5%. And this shows how passionate Korean people are about this election, including those residing overseas. And I saw Yang Gurum cast his ballot in Shanghai, so shout out to Yang Gurum. Did a very good job.
others did it too, but it seems like you're also, because Yang Gurum's a fan of yours.
Oops.
She's only talking about people, fans of hers. No, all joking aside. But that's the thing, right? If there is early voting, if there is high voter turnout amongst early voters and also overseas voters, what does that indicate?
Right.
But most pundits are basically saying that indicates maybe that votes are going to DP Lee Jae-myung. So again, I mean, this is Crash Override says the progressive guy I think has more realistic vision, but he does have the legal issues that seems
controversies.
to be and so that's what Kim Moon-soo and every other candidate's kind of targeting right now. James says any potential shock moves on the card. Well, it would be shocking if PPP's Kim Moon-soo merges with Lee Jun-suk, right? But Lee Jun-suk said, "No way, Jose.
No way.
I'm going to finish this campaign." All right, today, 8 p.m., I believe Arirang TV is going to be televising.
Yes, that's right.
The last and final televised debate between the four major candidates, so do stick around for that.
Are you going to watch on your way home?
That's so dangerous.
Oh, it is, actually.
I gotta try. Seon wants to get rid of me. You want the seat, don't you? Seon wants a seat. She just told me to drive and watch TV at the same time here.
I failed.
We're gonna go into our next topic in just a bit, but first let's take a listen to a song here from 장기하와 얼굴도 with 그건 네 생각이고 That's Just What You Think. 이 길이 내 길인 줄 아는 게 아니. Hey! Stop looking at the clock. We still got more work at the Culture Inc. Current time is now 7:28 p.m. here in Seoul, South Korea. It's time for our special issue task force number 2 issue here. The SIM card hacking that took place with South Korea's largest telecom provider, SK Telecom, for short SKT. I am a user.
Me too.
As an SKT user, if you just say I'm a user, people think other stuff. The ripple effect still going on right now. You said you use SKT.
Yes.
I use SKT. Did you go there and change your SIM card?
I was too lazy to go there.
I didn't do it
and
either.
change my SIM
We
card.
were talking about this, and Seong and I, we had to seek consensus. If they wanted to hack our stuff, they would have hacked it already.
Right. So there's no use.
Yes, and good luck.
So this kind of incident shouldn't have happened in the first place.
Exactly.
That's the
so
point.
let's talk about the background. What exactly happened here, and why was this such a big deal?
왕따
No,
in your
because
family.
I'm a VIP customer, and so like with VIP status, you get like discounts and all
Yes,
that stuff, and so
that's
like I don't want to
right.
get rid of it. But now I'm thinking, I mean, my 3 years are up anyways. Might as well just switch over to KT. I don't
Yes.
know. I'm thinking about this, but
A lot of people are doing that.
But
yeah.
I mean, what do they got to steal from my phone? I got no money there. I don't know. Maybe the hacker's Hyung fan. Hyung's phone number is in my phone. Maybe he wants to hack that. I don't know. But the bigger issue was SKT and the heavy criticism that they were under because of how they responded to the incident, right?
Exactly. The public backlash intensified because of how SK Telecom initially responded. The company was slow to acknowledge the severity of the incident and downplayed the risk and failed to promptly notify affected customers.
Yep.
Even worse, the breached servers were reportedly outdated and lacked global security certification, which raised serious concerns about the company's overall security practices.
Yeah, so I think they're doing a big investigation into the response. So apparently, if there is like a hacking incident that happens with any company,
Yes.
you're supposed to report it in 24 hours. However, SKT did not report it within the 24-hour time frame, but they knew about this. They had to report.
They hesitated to notify people.
Exactly. And so like when it comes to hacking and all the information that they have, I mean, even like a minute is very, very crucial here with this, which is why. And what was the other solution? They said, if you subscribe to like some SIM card protection program,
Yes,
then
that's
you'll be
right.
protected or something like that. So pay more for a stupid mistake that you guys did?
Also, people in their like 60s or 70s will find it really difficult to download it and just like sign up for this kind of programs.
And there was like no, what compensation do we get? We got no compensation.
Yes.
Am I a VVIP customer now? No, I'm just still a VIP. But Seong, you're doing something interesting here because we are Culture Inc.
Yes.
There's some cultural insights to this whole ordeal.
Yes, it also highlights from a cultural perspective how Koreans tend to respond when faced with collective harm or damage.
Yeah.
Like mentioned earlier, so far over 400,000 users switched as carriers, a staggering figure even for a major telecom company. And once public frustration spreads through online communities and social media, in this case regarding data breach, which can be very sensitive, it often leads to fast, large-scale actions like boycotts. So the backlash is not just technical, it's emotional and cultural.
Seong, you were just saying, I'm going to switch to KT.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I will, and with my husband. Boycotting certain company. Plus, in Korea, major corporations aren't just service providers. They are seen as pillars of public trust. So when that trust is broken, the response can be swift and severe.
I mean, when you're talking about a major company, right? I mean, if it's like a small provider or something, you go like, I mean, it's a small company and, we pay, less for a small company. So I guess stuff like this could happen. But when you're talking about the biggest.
Yes, like Samsung or SK.
Oh, yeah. That's why, like, when you remember, like, with Samsung phones, when, like, the batteries were blowing up and so the backlash that they got, right? And, like, when Samsung phones were slow, they're like, oh, my goodness, Samsung can't be slow. What's wrong?
Well, they eventually issued an apology and promised to overhaul its security system. But much of the damage to its reputation had already been done.
I mean, it's so easy to say, I'm sorry, right? But the thing that angered me, again, was I got a text message. I got a text message from SKT, and they're saying that, we'll do our best that this never happens again, and we're going to sign
I got
you.
that text message
and
too.
you're going to sign you up for the SIM card protection program. I was like, but you have to pay money for that.
Yes.
What? So you make the mistake, and I have to pay money for this program to protect my SIM card?
And they haven't presented like specific strategies how they are going to deal with this information leakage and everything, sensitive issues. So that's what the customers want from the company. Yes.
I'm so mad that I'm just going to give the hacker my information. If you guys want Taeyang's phone number... If you want Taeyang's phone number, take it.
I can say it out loud here on air.
You got people who are gonna call you nonstop every single day.
I think no one is going to call me.
Did you not learn anything from the messages that we got from our fans out there? But again, I like what you talked about with the boycott culture,
yes.
right? I mean,
we've done that several times in the past.
No, but when
like clothing company.
When we talk about boycott, it's always been like Japanese goods,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Cars, clothing companies, Even I remember like Sony was big in Korea for the longest time, and then the Japan boycott hit, and rarely anybody uses Sony anymore, right? I mean, all the electronics have gone Samsung now, Samsung LG nowadays, but Korean products, I could think of another boycott that's going on right now.
What
Baekjeongwon.
Oh, yes,
But you know what
exactly.
but you know what the problem with the Baekjeongwon boycott is?
I wasn't a customer in the first place, so it's not big news to me, honestly.
But see, the big problem with this is that they're boycotting all of Baekjeongwon's restaurants, but who's taking the hit?
Yes, that's right. Same here, SKT. The service centers are being run by just regular business owners.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so those, the service centers or the local, dealerships,
Yes.
right? They're all closing down now. They're all closing down. All the people who own or franchise the Baekjeongwon restaurants, they're all closing down because people are
Right.
boycotting it. So it's not the big wigs who are taking the hit here, it's the small guys.
Yes,
they're taking
so
the hits
that's why
here.
some people are expressing concerns over this boycotting culture, because at the end, that's just regular, ordinary people who are being affected.
That's right. Well, we're going to talk about other issues at hand that everybody's been talking about here in Korea, especially in office spaces. But we're going to take another short song break here. This is what Taeyoung would say, actually. This is Shiny with Don't Call Me. All right, we're back in the studio. That was Shiny with Don't Call Me. Taeyoung joining us for the latest in a special issue task force. We talked about the upcoming presidential election next week. We talked about SKT and what a terrible job they did in dealing with the SIM card hacking system here. Now we're going to be talking about weather. And something that I used to say when I used to host Korea Now is anytime we talk about weather on Focus on Headlines, things are going bad.
Yes.
Things are going bad with the weather. We're talking about the weather today. South Korea's weather forecast grabbing attention. The Korea Meteorological Administration is predicting a hotter than average summer ahead. It's May 27th right now. It hit 28 degrees. It's going to hit 29 later this week. These aren't temperatures that we're supposed to be seeing at the end of May, even if it's end of May. Let's talk about the unusual weather patterns.
Yes, like you said, Korea's climate is undergoing noticeable changes, and the weather agency reports that this summer is expected to be hotter than average, with increased instances of heavy rainfall and strong winds. And the traditional 장마, or monsoon season, is becoming less predictable, leading to what experts term compound disasters, simultaneous occurrences of heat waves, torrential rains, and typhoons as well. And these changes are a challenge for Korean society, which has long valued its clear for distinct season. And I remember when I was in elementary school, my teachers used to say to students that, oh, you should be proud and grateful for the fact that we have 4 distinct seasons, spring, summer, fall, winter, and South Korea is one of a few countries where people can enjoy and appreciate the beauty of each season. But I guess that's not the case anymore.
No, I mean, when we were in elementary school, I mean, that was the case, right? I mean, we did
Right.
have stuff like this. I mean, I wasn't in Korea for very long. But if I remember my childhood, weather wasn't like this crazy. I mean, I remember 장마 season, when it's monsoon season for about 2 weeks or so, you get just constant rain and stuff like that. Now we're not seeing this. We're just seeing like just monstrous amounts of
Yes.
rain coming all at once one day, stopping, and then
sporadic.
then sporadic
rain,
too.
yes.
I mean, I don't know if any of you guys seen like some of the postings I did on Instagram where like I had to risk my life driving in the rain. That's how much it rained.
Yes.
And do you
that's
remember
true, that's
earlier?
true.
What was it? Was it April when it hailed?
No, yes.
Guys, it hailed in
Crazy.
April.
And it snowed in May in
Yeah.
Gangwon-do province.
What was it? Last Chuseok, it was super
Yes,
hot.
Super hot.
Did
It's
we-
like the mid-August.
Did we
I
go-
mean mid-July.
Did we go drinking on Chuseok last year?
Oh, yeah, we did.
It was a nice weather.
The weather was perfect.
It was so nice.
Yeah,
was
the
so nice.
atmosphere was perfect.
We had to go. We had to, a couple of us, we got together and just went drinking during Chuseok because it was so nice, right? It was so nice outside.
That was the first time I met Eugene.
Oh yeah, Eugene was there. We
Yes.
had a bunch of superstars
Arirang
there.
didn't come.
She never comes. Talk about another superstar there. But again, I remember at the beginning of this year when they were doing forecasts for the year, they said that this year's summer was going to last from April to November. Oh, that's ridiculous.
So we now
What is
only
that?
have summer and winter, only 2 seasons.
Yeah, I mean,
going
there
around.
was no spring this year. There's like my favorite season
There
is
was
fall.
like 3 days.
There was like 3 days of spring, right? And there's gonna be like 3 days of what is it, fall, and then the winter's gonna come.
Yes, that's right. And we can also talk about the touch upon the culture, Korean culture in daily life, and
Yeah.
how the climate shift affects Korean culture.
Of course.
Many aspects of Korean life are seasonally oriented, and like for example, like fashion industries release collections based on the 4 seasons, but with unpredictable weather patterns, retailers face challenges in inventory management and marketing strategies. And festivals, local events traditionally scheduled according to seasonal cues, now grapple with unexpected weather disruptions, leading to cancellations or reduced attendance. And moreover, agricultural practices, which are deeply rooted in seasonal cycles, are experiencing difficulties as well.
We talk about inflation, and much of the inflation, the prices, rising prices come from food, right? Agricultural goods. A couple of things are happening right now that's really messing up the food prices. Number one,
Yes.
farms are usually run by who? Older people.
Yes.
We are an aging society. Young people are not working the farms.
No.
So the farmers are getting older, which means they could do less work. Yield is getting smaller. And also combine that with the unusual weather patterns that we've been seeing here in Korea, it's just messing up the agriculture. And what
Yes.
happens when agriculture goes bad? Prices are going to go up.
Yeah, last year, a few years ago, the apple prices skyrocketed, and it's still very expensive.
I don't remember the last time I had apples.
Oh,
That's like the cheap.
I'll share some apples with you next week.
See, that's the difference between Gangnam. That's the difference between Gangnam and Anyang.
I have like 40 apples in my fridge, so I'll share some.
40 apples?
Yes, because I have apple every.
No, I
morning.
know what you did.
What?
You needed empty apple boxes. You needed empty.
No.
You needed empty. Who are you bribing? Who are you bribing? You needed apple
That's
boxes.
another culture of Korea.
For our listeners out there, the reference to apple boxes,
boxes,
is long time ago people used to bribe people, put money into apple boxes,
yes.
and then pretend it's apples, because apples are usually like the biggest gifts, right, that you give
Yes,
out.
apple and pears.
Yeah, but are you concerned though also over because not only is the weather out of whack, but the fine dust
Yes.
is getting worse and worse. Today's fine dust was terrible.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people, including myself, are suffering from this allergies, seasonal allergies.
No, you wore sunglasses because
Like
you think you're a superstar.
pollen combined with
yeah,
fine dust
yeah.
is the worst.
Yeah. The pollen is because I have hay fever, right? And so like the pollen has been bad, and then combine that, like you said,
Yes.
with fine dust. It's been terrible air conditions right now.
But we have to adapt to these changes and find a way to survive from this unpredictable weather.
I feel like there's gonna be there's gotta be a solution. Eventually, like when we're kind of stuck in the corner there, we need to way out. That's when we start figuring out what to do.
My one last recommendation is stay updated with weather alert with Arirang News.
Oh my goodness. Taeyong, thank you very much for this. Have a fantastic rest of the week. We'll see you again next week.
Thank you.
All right, sending around to the studio. Let's take a listen to a song here from 여자친구 with Sunny Summer, 여름해.